paying attention to me.
Linda's fascination with birds began as a child. She was a bit of a dreamer and a loner.
I seem to really feel at one with animals, and I seem to have a little harder time with humans. Animals were a big part of my life as a child. They were my friends. They were creatures I could trust, I could depend on. I never felt that creatures like animals or birds ever turned on me, and I'm afraid I rather felt that way about adults.
As a teenager, Linda was unhappy and frustrated.
I quit school because I simply couldn't stand it any longer, really. I went on the road instead as a musician, and that's how I ended up in the eastern part of Canada. It got me into wonderful countryside with wonderful woodland areas. Built myself a little house in the woods, and suddenly I decided, hey, I think maybe it's time I tried to be an artist. And as soon as I started it, I thought, this is right. It felt right through my bones.
As the years went by, Linda's philosophy about life and nature began to emerge in her sculptures and paintings.
I wanted to paint landscape, and things began to become significant to me that I hadn't realized. I discovered that it wasn't just landscape I wanted to paint, but very strong metaphorical images. A feather cast from a bird would be a wonderful image of something, or a shell, or a bone. Bones are tremendous because although someone might think of them as being indicative of death, they actually are sort of a resurrective kind of thing. They're almost images of a transition, which is so important to us all. I began to want to express that very much, that life force.
Linda often took in injured animals, but had a particular rapport with birds. In her, they recognized a trusting, kindred spirit.
Animals are so amazing. If you offer them that kind of respect and love, then they respond immediately that way. I lived with so many birds over the years, and they began to stimulate wonderful images in the artwork. A wild bird that I would take in and try to help, I would see that wild bird terribly frightened in a strange situation, as I have been often myself, and I'd see how that wild bird would gradually adjust and heal very well and eventually be releasable. And I'd say to myself, you can do this. Adjust yourself as they do, learn from them and see the stability they have. And I tried to develop that centered image in my artwork and in myself.
Linda and her husband Mac played daily host to a colony of raccoons.
There are a lot of wild animals around our home. Right outside our door, we have an ongoing circus. We have so many chipmunks and so many squirrels. And we have a bevy of nursing raccoons. And they've been bringing their babies around as well, which is quite lovely to see.
Linda taught me that creatures deserve the same amount of respect. She treats everything decently.
Linda brings her furry and feathered friends to life in the artwork she creates, but they insist on lending a hand, or rather, a wing.
When you're doing artwork around creatures, you're intent on what you're doing. They have, of course, other ideas. They want to play. So just as you're holding your breath, intently getting an edge on something, a pigeon will land thump on your head, And you really have to be patient. Fang is a wonderful pigeon. We have a very close relationship. Fang was injured when she was just a baby pigeon. She couldn't fly. If I was to release Fang here, she might be caught by hawks very quickly because of one damaged eye. So she lives in with me, and she's a great inspiration.
Sometimes inspiration is just a dance away. With the chicken, that is.
There's a certain song that I play sometimes, and I swing Blossom around the room and dance with her, and then we call it our song, and it's quite funny. In a way, for all the impediments that they might put in the way of you getting something done, they do keep you freshened up.
Today, Linda Johns is a successful artist and an award-winning writer.
I don't think I would have found myself if the creatures hadn't been around. The animals have helped me find a way in art that I would never have found without them. I think we have a lot that we can learn from birds, other creatures. And I think the important thing is to realize that we are all a part of them and they are a part of us. When we try to separate ourselves, we just sort of try to reinforce our own sense of superiority. But I think when we sort of let go of all that and realize it's one planet, we can learn so much from these creatures. They are very much our teachers.
Weekday afternoons at 3, be sure to catch the one and only domestic diva as she perfects the art of hosting a live-to-air celebrity talk show. It's Martha on Life Network.
From this day forward, the face of Olay anti-aging skincare will forever be redefined.